I stared at the thick ivory envelope on my kitchen counter, its gold-embossed script gleaming in the morning sun. Annual Whitaker family Christmas dinner, followed by an address I knew by heart, 1437 Cedar Hollow Lane, the estate in northern Vermont where I'd spent every childhood Christmas treated like a stray they let inside out of obligation. My thumb ran along the envelope's edge. It had been 4 years since I last attended their grand holiday gathering, 4 years of building quietly, away from their judgment and smirks. This time, the invitation felt different because I wasn't Haley, the broke niece who needed help after mom passed. I was Haley Jennings, 38, founder and CEO of Northbridge Ventures. And as of tomorrow morning, I'd be the majority owner of Whitaker Biotech, the company my uncle once said I'd never be qualified to work for. Miss Jennings, my assistant Olivia chimed from the other side of my office door in Boston's Seaport District. The final contracts just arrived from legal. Bring them in, I replied, slipping the envelope into a drawer. Olivia entered, her heels clicking across the polished walnut floors. She handed me a leather folder labeled confidential. Her look said it all. It's official, she said. Acquisition completes at 2 p.m. sharp on Christmas Day. I opened the folder and scanned the agreement. My signature would finalize the quiet buyout Whitaker Biotech never saw coming through 3 shell companies, all tied back to Northbridge. Uncle Richard had laughed when I asked about an entry-level role after grad school. Come back when you've got more than a charity scholarship and some idealism, he'd said. That comment burned for years. Now, it fueled me. Olivia, I said, signing the last page, clear my schedule for Christmas Day. She blinked. The Whitaker dinner? Oh yes, I said, my smile calm. It's time they saw what I've done with my life. That morning, I chose a charcoal gray wool coat and understated boots. Clean, quiet, unimpressive at first glance. Let them assume I was still the same. When my black car pulled into their circular drive at 1:58 p.m., the timing in truth would be perfect. I drove an unremarkable gray sedan, not the sleek Jaguar I usually used. Memories rushed back. Every cold Christmas dinner, every backhanded comment, every reminder I wasn't one of them. Haley, Aunt Meredith's voice came across the frosted driveway, syrupy with faux concern. We weren't sure you'd come. Times must be tough. I smiled, holding my simple clutch. Just my phone, keys, and the signed acquisition contract inside. Thank you for the invitation, I said. Inside, the Whitaker home smelled of cinnamon, evergreen, and quiet competition. Crystal glasses clinked, luxury brands on display, status on parade. By the fireplace stood my cousin Travis, holding court as always. Well, look what the snow dragged in, he boomed. The prodigal cousin returns. He grinned. Still trying to get that little startup off the ground, Haley? Or have you found an actual job yet? I kept my expression calm. He didn't know that in less than an hour, his job at Whitaker Biotech would report to me. I'm managing, I replied, settling into the familiar role of the overlooked one. Uncle Richard approached with a glass of scotch. Didn't expect to see you here. I suppose a free meal's hard to pass up. Laughter buzzed from the table. I said nothing, just took my place in the same chair every year, near the kitchen doors, close to the help, out of view. Dinner began with Meredith detailing how their turkey was prepared by a private chef from Provence. Conversation drifted to vacation homes, stock tips, and inheritance plans. Speaking of business, Travis declared, Dad's firm just closed a huge acquisition. Whitaker's about to double its size. I bit back a smile. That deal? A carefully orchestrated distraction. Meanwhile, Northbridge Ventures had quietly acquired controlling shares. Mine, Jessica, his sister, smirked across the table. Still living off old scholarships and favors? I heard you were scoping out East Side condos. Bit above your pay grade, isn't it? I glanced at my watch, 1:58 p.m. Almost there. If you need help finding something more realistic, Travis said, swirling his Bordeaux, I know a few affordable options. 2 p.m. The doorbell rang. A hush fell. I'll get it, Meredith offered. I stood. No, please allow me. As I crossed the room, I felt every stare. At the door stood Olivia, sharp in a navy suit, tablet in hand. It's done, she said, smiling. They work for you now, Miss Jennings. Her voice was clear and intentional. Your acquisition of Whitaker Biotech is finalized. The board has been notified. Press release goes out in 5 minutes. The silence behind me was instant, sharp, hollow. I turned slowly, letting my smile rise, small, undeniable. Thank you, Olivia. Kindly inform the board I'll be making several changes, starting with executive leadership. A glass slipped from Uncle Richard's hand, shattering on the oak floor. Travis stood frozen, wine forgotten, color draining from his face. What? What is she talking about? Aunt Meredith whispered, clutching her pearls. Without a word, I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen, turning it toward them. The headline gleamed: Northbridge Ventures acquires Whitaker Biotech in quiet takeover. CEO Haley Jennings speaks on strategic vision. Northbridge, Travis croaked. My company, I said, eyes locking onto his. The one I built, the one none of you ever asked about. I continued, and now about those affordable neighborhoods you offered me, Travis. You may want to take your own advice. There will be some restructuring after the holidays. No one touched the turkey. The room seemed suspended, silverware halfway to mouths, hands gone slack. Uncle Richard lurched to his feet, blotchy with rage. This is impossible. Northbridge is a billion-dollar firm. They've bought out 6 labs in the last quarter. You're right, I said coolly. And now they've bought your lab. I reached into my bag and pulled out the acquisition folder, placing it between the turkey platter and untouched sweet potatoes. Would you like to review the documentation, Uncle? Or perhaps check your inbox. The board should have emailed you 10 minutes ago. Phones buzzed around the table. Notification dings echoed like bells. Travis fumbled with his phone, eyes scanning furiously. Haley Jennings, CEO of Northbridge Ventures, confirms full acquisition of Whitaker Biotech. He read aloud, voice cracking. This can't be real. This has to be a stunt, like when you begged for an internship and got rejected. Oh no, I said, holding his stare. That was desperation. This is discipline. Meredith clutched her chair. But you lived in a 1-bedroom rental. That old car. The rental? One of 50 properties I own across New England. The car? A decoy, I smiled. While you were flaunting old money, I was making new. Olivia stepped forward, tablet in hand. Miss Jennings, the transition team is ready. Would you like me to begin implementing the leadership changes now? Uncle Richard slammed his palm on the table. Now hold on. You can't just walk in here and... I cut in smoothly. And I will. But first, a story since we're enjoying this festive family dinner. I returned to my seat, smoothing my charcoal gray dress. The shift in the room was instant. Every relative who dismissed me now clung to my words. 6 years ago, I began looking at Uncle Richard. I came to you with a proposal, a digital infrastructure model to simplify small business transactions. He stiffened, eyes darting. You laughed, called me naive, told me to grow up and find a stable job. He opened his mouth, then shut it. So I built it myself. That platform now processes over $50 billion annually. But that was just the foundation. While you were mocking my little project, I was acquiring companies, one after another, through holding firms, quietly, strategically. Whitaker Biotech is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Travis found his voice. But why not tell us? I turned to him, remembering every jab disguised as humor, because you all needed to learn something. Real success doesn't shout. It doesn't need validation. It builds, and it waits. Olivia cleared her throat. The press is asking for a quote, and the board is requesting confirmation of tomorrow's transition meeting. Tell them I'll issue a statement after dinner, I replied, not breaking eye contact with Aunt Meredith. Family comes first. Isn't that what you always said? She blinked, lips pressed thin. Now, I said, folding my hands, let's talk changes, Travis. I turned to my cousin. Your position as VP of Sales is being dissolved. Uncle Richard, you're stepping down as CEO, effective immediately. You can't do this, he barked. I already did, I replied. The board approved the restructure this morning. Northbridge's track record spoke for itself. Unlike yours. Jessica, who'd mocked my apartment, shoved her chair back. This is outrageous. I smiled. No, Jessica, this is business. If you're still with me, You won't want to miss what happens when the boardroom meets the dinner table. I'm calling our lawyers, Uncle Richard said, his voice shaky. Feel free, I said, smiling. They've already reviewed and approved the acquisition. But while you're at it, you might want to call a recruiter too. Your position is also being eliminated. The room exploded. Chairs scraped. Voices rose in protest, shouting, "This is outrageous," tangled with threats of lawsuits and pleas for reconsideration. I sat still, calm in the chaos, remembering all the Christmases I'd been talked over, dismissed, humiliated, smiling while they reminded me I didn't belong. Olivia stepped forward, her voice low. "Would you like security on standby?" "That won't be necessary," I said, raising my voice just enough. "My family may have forgotten their manners, but I trust they can handle this professionally. Can't you?" Silence dropped like a curtain. I rose, adjusting my charcoal gray dress. "Now, I believe there's dessert. Meredith always serves her famous apple pie, though I imagine the bakery on Main Street deserves the real credit." Meredith's face paled. "One more thing," I said, reaching into my bag. I pulled out a stack of envelopes. "I have something for each of you. Severance packages, NDAs, and formal terms for your departures." Gasps rippled as I passed them out. "The terms are fair, more generous than anything you ever offered me. You have until the end of dinner to decide." Hands trembled. Forks were abandoned. The only thing being consumed was reality. "Oh, and those NDAs," I added casually, "they cover social media. So I'd suggest deleting those posts about my failed career before midnight." Travis looked up pale. "You knew about those?" "I know everything," I said quietly. "It's a skill you develop when no one's watching you because they think you're no one." The meal passed in brittle silence. No one touched the wine. The turkey sat beside the cooling pie. The grandfather clock struck 4, its chimes cutting through the tension like a blade. I stood. "You have until New Year's Day to clear out your offices." "Generous, don't you think? Considering how quickly you showed me the door 6 years ago." Uncle Richard, quiet until now, spoke. "Why, Haley? Why do all this?" His voice no longer carried arrogance. "Surely we can talk about this. We're family." I turned toward him, letting the word linger. "Family," I echoed. "Let's talk about family, Uncle Richard. When Aunt Lillian passed and I was drowning in Mom's hospital bills, where was family then? When I spent 3 months sleeping in my car while getting Northbridge off the ground, did anyone notice?" "You slept in your car?" Meredith gasped, her flawless exterior cracking. "Why didn't you say something? Would you have listened?" I replied gently. "Or would it have been more ammunition for your Sunday brunch gossip?" The silence answered for them. Olivia stepped forward. "Miss Jennings, the board is requesting an immediate video conference, and Mr. Beck from the Wall Street Times is asking for an exclusive." I nodded. "Please let them know I'll join shortly." Turning back to the table, I added, "You'll find instructions in your packets. The transition team will assist you. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." Blake, quiet until now, stood. "Wait, just wait." He swiped through his phone with trembling fingers. "This photo at the Thompson merger gala last month. That's you, right? Talking to Joseph Danner." I glanced at the screen, a glossy society page photo. "Yes, I was there, discussing a cross-border acquisition with one of the top 5 tech CEOs in the world." "But that dress," he muttered, looking at my understated outfit. "A custom couture gown," I finished. "Worth more than your annual bonus." "I just don't feel the need to broadcast wealth at family gatherings." Jessica looked up from her phone, face pale. "I just checked Forbes. Northbridge, you're worth more than this entire family combined." I confirmed. "Though that's not the point. The point is what you do with power once you have it." I lifted my handbag, hand-stitched Italian leather, simple, immaculate, worth more than most of their mortgages. Before I left, I paused. "You know what the real irony is? If any of you had truly seen me, listened, supported, I would have made room for you at the table. But you chose judgment. You chose exclusion. That was your choice. Now I'm making mine." Aunt Meredith choked on a sob. "But the scandal, what will people say?" "People already know," I said calmly. "They've known for years." I turned to Olivia. "Let's go. Please ensure everyone signs their NDAs before leaving." And have security begin updating the building access codes tomorrow morning. Yes, Miss Jennings, Olivia replied. And your dinner reservation? Keep it, I said. Though I've definitely lost my appetite here. I turned toward the grand oak doors. Behind me, Uncle Richard called out. Haley, please give me a chance to make this right. My hand paused on the brass handle. I didn't turn around. You had 15 years of chances, Uncle. Now it's my turn. The drive back was silent. Olivia sat beside me in the front seat of my understated sedan, tapping on her tablet. The press release has gone viral, she said. Your family's accounts all went private in the last hour. I allowed a faint smile. Any direct calls? 17. Mostly Blake and Richard. Keep blocking them, I said. They can go through proper channels now, same as they always made me do. We pulled into the underground garage of my real home, not the rental they thought I lived in. This was my penthouse, 12 floors above the city, built with every calculated move they never saw coming. In the private elevator, Olivia hesitated. Was it worth the wait? I looked at her, then out across the skyline as the doors opened. My grandmother used to say, success is the best revenge, but timing is everything. I stepped into the wide, glass-walled living room bathed in soft city light. Sunflowers to the family tomorrow, I said. White lilies, Aunt Meredith's favorite. What should the card say? She asked. I paused, recalling years of passive-aggressive Christmas greetings, then smiled. Keep it simple. Merry Christmas. Looking forward to a productive new year. Best regards, your new CEO. Tonight, I gave myself the gift they never could, respect. And it was priceless. If you've ever been dismissed, overlooked, or told you weren't enough, I see you. Tell me in the comments what moment made you fight back quietly like I did. I built everything they said I couldn't, and you can too. Your support reminds me I wasn't alone in that silence. So subscribe, share this story, and never forget, respect isn't given, it's earned. Be patient, be strategic, and when the time is right, don't just show up. Take the lead. Because success speaks loudest when it's backed by substance.